Hello everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and today we're going to dive back into my top 100 games of all time. Today we are taking a look at 61 through 70. So we made it to the top, we're getting closer and closer to the midway point. So these are the ones that people are like, wait a minute, maybe he does like these. Spoiler alert, I like them all because they're all my top 100 games of all time. But these are the 61 through 70. So, up. Let's get started. Okay, so my number 70 is a party game, and there's several party games on here that I do like. This one's a newer party game that kind of just blasts its way through, and I do love this game. It's now, you can get anywhere, and it is Green Team Wins. Green Team Wins is pretty much, they're going to ask a question and you want to write an answer and you want to be in the majority of the people in the room with your answer. And it's similar to, I think there's a game called Herd Mentality, but Green Team Wins I think does it better in kind of more gamery is the way it is. But it's interesting because when you play this, you really feel like what the answer you're writing down, it's obviously going to be the most popular answer here. Like for instance, what flavor is green? And you'll write lime, because of course that's lime, you know, anywhere. But then someone else would write green apple. Someone else would write, I don't know, watermelon. And it's very interesting, and you're always like, what? The discussions that happen, it's like, why would you write that? And it's really fun. And they have a lot of cards in there, but even if you repeat the cards with different people, it's always a different game and a different answer every time. So that is my number 70 game of all time. That is Green Team Wins. Yay! Okay, so my number 69 game of all time. Funny, a couple years ago, this would have been much closer to the top 20, but it has fallen. Now, I do love this game. It is a hidden movement game. It is a longer hidden movement game, but it has that epic feel that I go for in games. And when it clicks so well because you just got that chase, and it is Fury of Dracula. And the big thing is one player, of course, plays Dracula, going around, and the other people are the hunters. They're hunting down Dracula. And when you find him, the battle mechanic, some people don't like this battle mechanic. It's very like a rock, paper, scissors style thing where you go back and forth. Dracula tries to escape because his big thing is just trying to keep running away. And he can leave things behind. There's a lot that goes into this game. I really enjoy this game. What has dropped this further down the list is because it doesn't hit the table as much because of the length. That happens occasionally, but the majority of the time this game does hit. And when it does hit, it just ends in this epic battle when you're all in the right area and you're taking trains over. You're like, I need help. I know where he is. He's here. And the whole time you're planning this stuff out around you, and the person who's the hidden movement, the player for Dracula, is sitting there having to be quiet, right? So I love whenever you're like, I know they're in this town. And the other guy's like, I do too. They're there. They're there. And this guy's staying quiet the whole time, because he's not even near that town. And you can't say anything, and it's like that revelation. Then it's like, wait, what? Oh, I made this mistake 2 or 3 turns ago. Oh, so he could be there. And I do like that. It gives a great epic feel. Now this got bumped down a little bit lower because there's another hidden movement game, more recent, that has come out that has propelled this one down because it plays in a shorter time. But this one, even compared to that one, gives a more epic feel because you really feel like you are hunting Dracula, and the things that he leaves behind just makes this a more full experience. So that is Fury of Dracula. Okay, so my number 68 is another party game. It is, the artwork on this is incredible, and it is Detective Club. Detective Club is a really fun, pretty much the way the game is played. It uses a Dixit-style artwork. Everyone gets their cards, and you're going to write a word down for everybody except for one person. And everybody looks at their sheets, and they act like they see the word. One person does not know the word, and everyone plays cards. You end up playing 2 cards, and you explain if the word was snow. You'll be like, well, I said snow because it looks like it's cold here and here. And the next person, each person, will say why they said that word, snow. And then you have to guess on which person didn't know the word. So it's similar to Spyfall in that way and other ones, but this one clicks so much better because these stories that come with this are great. And I like whenever, and it always ends the same way or middle of the way, is when someone starts to flip over a card, halfway through the round, you're just like, you know what, throw the magnifying glass at him. Like, there's no way that card matches that word. Could be a bad deal. And I mean, we get lines like, what you got there, buddy? Tell me about that, you know? And then the stories people come up with, you know? And it's like, there's a door sitting in there, and it's like, the word is home. It's like, well, this is homeless. There's no home attached to this door. And it's very interesting to see the things that people come up with to either save themselves, or they have rationally decided this in their mind because they actually did know the word. So that's a really fun give and take. And for me, Detective Club is one that just comes out and is played a lot at our house. So that is Detective Club. In space, no one can hear you draw. That's not the saying. But this is my number 67 game of all time. And the tension is real on this. It is Escape from Aliens in Outer Space. This one, you've got a map in front of you. And you are pretty much half the people, it's hit and roll. Half the people are aliens, half the people are humans. And the aliens have to find the humans before they get to the escape pods. All right, so everyone's moving. You don't know who is who. So you're all going on the same map on your sheets, and you can eventually, you listen, if they make movement, you can know where they are, or they could be lying. And the whole thing is the track that goes, and you're trying to find them. You don't know where anyone is or what they are. And slowly the information starts to come in. But it's pretty fun when you start playing this game. It does, I mean, really, it shouldn't work as well as it does. It's a few cards. It's a binder and a pen. That's it. How can you make tension with that? Well, it's very simple, because then you're getting towards the escape pod and you know where they are because they're attacking certain squares right around you. And you're like, I gotta get there, but I also have to zig and zag just to make sure. And the tension is great. This is one that every year at Dice Tower East, we played a lot at home, but at Dice Tower East, this is kind of our end of the con game to kind of enjoy it at night. We usually get several big groups around to play Escape from Aliens in Outer Space, because for you that haven't played it, it's a really fun, and it's also a good large group game. And one by one, you're going to die. You're going to get killed, and then if you're a human, you can come back as an alien, back and forth. But it's really fun to just then watch that final battle that takes place. Like, it's very thematic, like you're watching that movie. So I do enjoy that a lot. So that is Escape from Aliens in Outer Space. Okay, my number 66. Yeah, 66 game of all time. My, I do declare. It is by designer John DeClaire. And this is a city building game. And I do like city building games, especially if after you're done, you can sit back and go, look at what I made, And there's also something else that I like that I did not know I liked until this one, and that is Rolling Meeples. Rolling Meeples is fun, and this game is Rolling Heights. So pretty much you have a handful of meeples, and you're rolling them in a box, and it depends on how they land is how you get to use them. If they're lying down, they're not working. Of course, if you're lying down, you're not working. And if they're lying on their side, they're kind of working. If they're landing straight up, they're hard working. So you get to roll those meeples. It also has a push your luck aspect, where you can then roll half of them again and keep going. It's a lot of fun. This game is great. And then on top of all the rolling the meeples, which that's one of the hard things about the game too, is when you're teaching people the game, you first have to go into the rolling meeples, and then people just zone out because they're just going to sit there and roll meeples for the next 15, 20 minutes. When you build those the towers and things, and you step back and you're like, wow, looks good, right? It looks good. Everything on this board just works. It's colorful. The meeples just feel so nice in your hands, and it is unique. And that is Rolling Heights, where you get to roll meeples, which is my new favorite hobby. Okay, number 65. Number 65 is one that we play every Halloween, but we play it a lot of times throughout the year. My wife does not like it. Just found that out recently. Makes me sad. It is a party game, and it is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong is pretty much, it's very simple. You're going to have all these different weapons and ways to die around you, and one person is the murderer, and then somebody else is the forensic scientist. And they also could have a witness, and they're going to point to whichever two things you're going to use. And anyway, so pretty much it's deduction on trying to figure out, putting those clues out as the forensic scientist. You're going to kind of give people the clues on what the crime scene looks like, or what the body looked like whether it's shot, bludgeoned, whatever like that. And you're trying to figure it out from all the people around the table. And again, it's one of those that plays to a larger group, and you can be kind of standing around the table, which you usually end up standing on this because you want to see the cards on each side of the table. And it's really enjoyable just to kind of build that story, especially at the end when you find out what it is and you're like, what were you trying to tell me? And the whole scene they had planned in their mind was completely different from yours or what you thought reality would be. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. It's a great game. And we played every Halloween. We played a lot. So apparently my wife does not like it though. So she might not be playing it next time. But that is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Okay, my number 64 game of all time, my wife does love. This one is back to the archaeology theme, though we had a couple games last 10 list that were on there that were archaeology. This one is Archaeology. It's the New Expedition. So really either archaeology, they're both virtually the same. There's a couple of updated rules as far as the tent cards on the second one, but they're both great games. So pretty much the whole thing is, you're an archaeologist, of course. It's a simple game. And first you're going to, pretty much here's the way the game works. You are looking for treasure. It's a set collection style game. And it's very simple. I'll teach you the game right now. You grab a card and that's you digging, right? If it's a treasure, you get to keep it. If it's a thief, you get to grab a card from someone else, or it could be a sandstorm and then you lose half of your cards. And then once you do that, then you have the choice. You can, what's it called, trade at the market, which is all these markets in front of you. You get to trade the cards back and forth. You get to explore ruin, go to ruin and try to find these if you have the maps, or you get to sell at the museum. What's interesting is push your luck because you're getting a tableau in front of you, right, of all the cards you want to keep in these sets. But you want to sell to the museum. Once you sell at the museum, those can't be lost by a sandstorm. But you also want to keep them together because once you sell them as a set and you can't add to that set. So you want to push your luck and you want to stay as long as possible to keep these cards. But you're also risking the fact that a thief is going to show up or a sandstorm. So you want to balance that out, and it's a very nice push your luck mechanic, and it's a very quick game. It's a small game. We do travel with this a lot. We take it with us because it's very quick. And the New Expedition, I think, adds a tent, I believe, that you can kind of negate a sandstorm later. But that I do like this game a lot. It's a very it's a simple game. It's a card game, but I love the push your luck mechanic on this. So that is Archaeology, the New Expedition. Okay, so this next game I love. I know I'm saying that because I love all these games, but this one I really adore in the fact that when you bring it out, it looks incredible, and it is. Very few of the games I play hit 100% of the time. And really, every single time we play this game, it's a blast. Every person, whether it's hardcore gamers or light gamers, they like this game. And this is Frankenstein. Frankenstein is based on an older game called It's Alive. And they're both available now. But I think Frankenstein has has better artwork. And there's also a small villager change, which I'll talk about in a moment. But the whole thing is, you are building Frankenstein. You're going to start to flip cards, and then you can choose to buy that card, or you can choose to auction it off. If you auction it off, everyone else gets the opportunity to buy that card as well. And if they do, you could possibly be giving them the card that they want or the piece that they want to complete their monster. Because everyone has a player shield in front of them, and behind them you have got a board that has the different spaces that you could put the different body parts, and you're going to slowly start to build this monster. And you do this forward, and then at the end, you just say it's alive and you show that you have all the pieces. And I'll tell you what, the tension is good because you're seeing people take, okay, that guy just took a heart. Okay, I know he's got a head over here, he's got a foot. Okay, so you're trying to keep track and you lose track eventually, but you know towards the end, everyone is close to saying it's alive. So you don't want to auction off those pieces. You could also sell them and put them in your graveyard on your side of the board, and they could get them later, but it costs them twice as much by bringing them from the graveyard to the middle to them. And there's a nice give and take. And the new one, they both have villagers, but the way the new Frankenstein does the villagers is very interesting because they have, every time you draw a villager card, something different happens. There's a track that you move along, and something different will happen with the villager cards every time they show up. So I do like that variety. That game adds to it, but both of them are great. But so it's a fun, exciting game. It looks great on the table. The artwork is fantastic, and it plays really well. So that is Frankenstein, or It's Alive. It's alive. It's alive. Okay, so my number 62 game of all time is back to kind of, I guess, the horror theme. But this takes place at a masquerade in Venice. Come on, that guy's right there. Masquerade in Venice. You're excited, aren't you? You are. But wait. With zombies. What? My mind is like, boom! Yeah, this is Carnival Zombie. Carnival Zombie is a very unique game in the fact that it is, it's not really, you can play a one-off or you can play a campaign that can be played in one setting as you kind of go through the track at the top. And that's what is interesting, because there are very quick scenarios you can play, or you can play kind of a 3-game campaign. It's a tower defense game is pretty much what it is at its core. It's a tower defense, and you're trying to keep off hordes and hordes of zombies by getting different minis out there. And the minis, let me mention the minis. The minis are incredible. The minis look really good. It's a very unique style of artwork that is just all over this. Then there's a very strange dexterity element to it, where you have to take these cubes and drop them over in the graveyard. And at first you thought, and they can't fall out, right? They can't fall out of the graveyard, or they have to come back. And I thought, it's very simple, right? When I drop a cube, I'm like, look, I just dropped it right there. Well, but wait, when you're dropping 1, it's easy. When you're dropping 7 or 8, that's when it gets difficult. You want to know when to do that, when to drop them. That is really, really interesting. So you mix that with the castle defense and the theme and the hidden and just everything. It comes together and it makes an enjoyable game. This is the 2nd edition. I never played the 1st edition of Carnival Zombie. Just the theme and the minis, everything pulled me into this, and I'm glad it did, because it's a really fun game. It can be swingy, and the ending could be, if you can't find the boat, things like that, it could be very anticlimactic if you have the bad ending, but there are ways around that. But I love this game, and this is Carnival Zombie. Here we are to the end of the list. That wasn't so painful, was it? Very painless. Now my 61 game of all time is a betting game. Bet you didn't know that. Apology for that. That was uncalled for. Wasn't even funny. My number 61 game of all time is, wait a minute, my, I do declare. It's John Declare. Again, John Declare. This is Ready, Set, Bet. This is a really, really fun game. I actually, 61, it seems to be probably low, because I think it's much higher on Tom's list. And I do love this game. This game it has replaced Downforce for me, to the fact that this is the one that's going to hit the table a lot. Because you can get a lot of people, and there's more strategy than a game like Camel Up, which I still enjoy. Because you can kind of negate that with the chance of different things rolling. So I do enjoy that. And it's so fun to also be the caller on this, to be able to call the game of Ready, Set, Bet. We played this at Dice Tower West, and I had several boxes of the games, and a whole room of watching people, and they just slowly, you'll win your race, you go to a different race, and it's kind of a tournament style to the very end, to one big race at the end. And it's just as exciting to watch as it is to play. It's really like, honestly, a horse race, because I grew up in Kentucky, so this is one of those things that I'm like, yeah, I love that. I used to love to go to the horse track, although I knew nothing about it, but it's very exciting just to see that. This kind of gives that same feeling, and it's very exciting. So it is, the race may be fake, but the excitement is real. It's that type of feeling on that. So that is Ready, Set, Bet. So, okay, so that is it. That is my 61 through 70 games of all time. And we're going to be back next week, so make sure you check out everybody else on the channel, because we're all dropping ours. And please keep commenting. I love reading your guys' comments. And even when you find something you're like, hey, I like this game, or you forgot about this. I love hearing that. If you've played these games, let me know. If you haven't, let me know. If you'd like to, again, let me know, especially if you're going to a Dice Tower convention. Love to play these with you. So, all right. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm Joey Evans. Bye.